They were trying to stop the police from killing their brother. And remember, we're talking about this after a whole year of Chauvin, all the protests, everything going on with Chauvin in the country. And this happens and they see their brother out there. And I always say it, when should they wait?
Let's embark on the Ark Republic to hear current news that's published. More than gossip and chatter, covering current affairs that matter. We talk issues with professional views, all keeping you in queue. We wanted a higher vibe for these days and times to free the voices and minds, reporting the sign of the times so all can build. Let's shine, yeah.
All right, greetings wherever you are in the world. My name is Kaya Shivers. Welcome to Ark Republic. We are speaking again with Brother Afrika, who is a historian, a sociologist, and an activist coming out of not Newark, New Jersey. You're not from the area if you say it like Newark. You got to say Newark. I had to learn that. What's good, brother?
Man, same old. We good.
How's wifey? I know she's been dealing with, that vid.
Yeah, she got that vid, man. Got everybody wearing masks in the house, yo.
Yeah, well, you know what? Much healing and much health. Stay warm, drink a lot of water, a lot of tea. And I look forward to seeing her on the other side of healing.
Got you.
So Brother Afrika is joining us. He is going to be a regular contributor to Ark Republic. He brings, in my opinion, a very needed perspective. And we talk about all things politics, current affairs, so on and so forth. Brother Afrika is also the host of the All Power to the People podcast. You can catch that on YouTube, and you can see how he fires it up throughout the community of Newark. So that's where we're going to specifically talk about some of the work that he does in Newark on this episode of Ark Republic News. Anything? What's good? Anything else you want to add before we get into what we're going to get into, Brother Afrika?
Nah, man, we good, man. We gonna be all right. I know you got the vid too, man. So like, you did you go to the hospital?
No, I did not. No.
You didn't die, right?
No, I did not die. I'm here.
You good? You sure?
Yes, sir.
I thought if you catch it, you're gonna die out here, man.
No.
Well, all right, we good. We all right.
Some sweat, some tea, a lot of reflection, and we good to go. It was like a 2-week. They say that on Marion was 5 day. That's not true. It's a 2-week tango.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, come out of it stronger. 2022. For me, 2022 is the year to push through. We just got to keep pushing through. And not sit back and wait for any answers. We got to push through.
Now that we all got it, we got immunity now.
Antibodies, yes, exactly.
You got the antibodies to fight back. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly. We need some more antibodies. We need some of these political antibodies. I don't know what happened. But let's talk about last year. No, this was in, when did we do this? Was it 2021 or 2020?
No, it was last year. It was last year.
No, it was 2020. 2020.
Oh yeah, it was 2020 before the election and everything.
Exactly. So in 2020, Afrika participated in Ark Republics. It was like a four series podcast dedicated to Black Lives Matter. The protests that erupted after the death of George Floyd, who was a Minneapolis motorist who was held down and killed by Officer Jared Chauvin. And there was a lot of conversation that went on. And, Brother Afrika, you had a very unique perspective. And what I remember about what you said in that time was, is this really and truly real change? Like, I don't see it being real change. And as it turns out, now we are, almost
2 years later.
Almost 2 years later, in a lot of instances, I would say Black people are worse 2 years later than we were 2 years before. But we're going to specific and when it comes to, there's been some cases that have been won when we specifically talk about police killings or killings of Black folk. But there's a lot of things when we talk about law enforcement that are a lot of challenges. So we're going to talk about one specific case today. It is popularly known as the Rodwell-Spivey case in Newark, New Jersey. So please, could you lay out exactly how this case comes to be, sir?
All right. I think it was June. It was in June of last year. And there was a brother outside.
So June of 2021.
Yes. And the police were driving past, and according to their records, they say they saw a black man.
So they were driving by where?
They were driving past on the street Fabian in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
And the brother was outside, like trying to buy some clothes from somebody in the truck that was selling clothes out of a truck. So the police said they saw somebody with a white t-shirt and dreads. This is according to their reports. And they said that gave them reason to suspect that he probably had a gun on him. So they rolled up on the brother and they grabbed him, and the other brothers came out of the house and saw it. So they intervened, like, yo, what are y'all doing with my brother? The police ended up assaulting all four of the brothers and charging them with assault. They say there was a brawl that the brothers the community had beat them up, but there were videos. There was a mob attack. That's what they used. They say mob attack, but there were videos. And when the videos came out, they saw that none of that happened. I mean, so after the community went out and we went out protesting, we demanded accountability from the city, from the mayor, from the police chief. They came out and they said that the brothers were being charged with resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. Remember, this was last year, June. One of the brothers is still locked up.
How many brothers are there?
It's four brothers.
It's four brothers. So one of the four brothers, and it's called the Rodwell-Spivey case because some of them have the last name of Rodwell, the other have the last name of Spivey, correct?
But they're all brothers. And
they're all brothers. Okay.
They're all brothers.
And so one of the brothers was outside purchasing, like we do in the hood, clothes. Cops come up, run up on them, but they're plainclothes officers, right?
Yes.
Right. And so the brother doesn't know that it's actually officers in the beginning. I mean,
exactly.
You know, and the other brothers who see it don't know that these are officers.
Exactly.
So they run outside just like the hood, you know what I'm saying? The hood rules are, and they get busy.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like, they got busy, but it was refrained busy. It wasn't like they wasn't like there's a video from the beginning to the end. Nothing in the video showed them punching the police, attacking the police, or doing anything. They were trying to stop the police from killing their brother. And remember, we're talking about this after a whole year of Chauvin, all the protests, everything going on with Chauvin in the country. And this happens, and they see their brother out there. And I always say it. When should they wait till their brother is suffocated under the knee of a police officer for them to intervene, or do they intervene before he suffocates them? As a black man, I will intervene anytime that I see anybody being accosted by the police. I'm not gonna wait till that life is snuffed out. I'm saying, oh my God, we gotta go do this, we gotta do that. No, they intervene, and because they intervene, the police charged them with resisting arrest, assaulting an officer. There were no guns found. There was nothing. They didn't find no drugs. They didn't find nothing. They were just in front of their house.
Also, all four brothers were arrested?
All four brothers were arrested.
What were their age range? What was the age range for them?
They were all in their 20s.
Okay.
They're all in their 20s. So when they locked all of them up, at first we just saw it through the media. We were getting all the information through the media. They call it the brawl. So as a Black Panther, I went to the house to go see the parent, to go see the mother, to see anybody there that can tell me what was going on. And when I went and spoke to the mother, and she told me the account, and she showed me the videos, I went straight down to City Hall. I went to see the mayor. I went to see the police chief. Everywhere that they went, wherever they had a public appearance, I showed up. Like, where are these brothers at? So the community started rallying behind them, and they let the three brothers go. But they're still holding one. They're holding that one because I believe they're trying to make them take a deal. To let
the one they're holding is the initial one who was buying the clothes?
Yes, okay. Justin.
Okay.
They still have Justin locked up. Like, he has a baby at home. Now, I want you to understand this for a second. Yo, you outside your house and you're looking to buy clothes and the police arrest you. You have kids. You have a job. Yo, since last year, June, he has been locked up for nothing other than being outside buying clothes. The police charge him with resisting arrest, but that's what they always do. That's the catch-all charge. When they don't have no other charge, nothing to put on you, they put resisting arrest. What the fuck you arresting me for? What am I resisting?
Well,
I mean,
I have a question. Also, I understand too, in terms of him also being in jail, is this the law that was passed in terms of the no bond, where it was supposed to be something that was used for people who can't afford to bail themselves out, that they can, you know, this new law that says, okay, well, if you can't afford it and you're a non-violent offender, then you could be released until your court date. But this is actually backfired.
Yes.
On Justin.
Because they create a point system. They create a point system.
Explain that. What's the point?
It's a point system. If you ever had charges, you ever got locked up before, there are different things that they use to decide if they're going to hold you. If you're a danger to the community, if the police say you were beating on them and they have their lawyers from the state coming saying that you're beating on them, that you're a danger to the society, the judge listens to that. So it's like, it's now that they say there's no bail, they actually have more power and jurisdiction over your life, over holding you. So now you don't have no bail. We're just gonna keep you. We're gonna keep you till we decide we let you go. The first time they were supposed to let him go, they said because of COVID, because there's COVID, we didn't get a chance to put the paperwork in. To me, that sounds crazy. That sounds asinine. That you tell a grown man that you're locking up in a torture cell, because we need to see, like, most people don't understand what being locked up is like. Like, imagine being locked up in a cell in a bathroom for 20 hours a day, 22 hours a day, and you're let out to use a shower and use a telephone, then go back to that cell Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, you don't get to see your family. You don't know if you're ever gonna get out of there. He is being tortured, and they refuse to let him go because they have the power to do so, and nobody can challenge them. Nobody can stop them.
Well, I think that's really interesting because there were so many people being released as a result of COVID, but they don't release him because of COVID. These are two contradictory notions, that are going on.
Because it's not there to make sense. It's there to do whatever they want to do, to keep power in their clutches. So it's like we about to be in February and he's still locked up. When he comes out, he's not gonna have a job anymore. He had a job when he went in. Now remember, he hasn't been found guilty of anything. You see, like, these are the little minutiae, the little things that happen in the community that people really don't understand outside of the community. So he's been locked up, and there's a video showing he was just buying clothes, and he's still locked up all these months. What does that do to his psyche? What does that do to the way he thinks? What does that do to his daughter? He has, I think she's 5 years old. He has a 5-year-old daughter out here that hasn't seen her father in this long. And he refused to see anybody inside of a jail, inside of the county. So now there's a separation there between him and his family. And these people have no reason to keep him. And I went to court twice. We've been going to court, and every time we go to court, they're adjourning for something else. The prosecutor is delaying, dragging her feet.
And dragging it out.
Because they know they have nothing. They believe we used to call it bullpen therapy. When they take you to court, you don't see nobody, and they send you back, and like you feel so hopeless, you take any deal they give you. So now that they come to you and say, hey, take resisting arrest, and we're gonna let you leave. The average person is gonna sign that paper and walk out of there. But once you walk out of there, you have this charge on you. You lost your job. You can't get no housing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that come with that, and they use the judicial system to make these things a reality. I mean, it's deep. It's deep.
I have a question. The other 3 brothers, have their charges been dropped, or they still?
No, they're still going to court.
Okay.
They're still fighting, going to court. But this is another thing. They have no lawyers. They don't have paid lawyers. So now they got public defendants, stunt dummies. You see, when you grow up in the hood, you can afford to go get lawyers to beat charges. You can get lawyers that's paid $10,000, 15, 20,000. All these black lawyers, all these black judges, all these people that we talking about, they say they're pro-black. There's a judge, her name is Judge Pratt. She works in Newark. They talk about she helped with what they call that, man, social justice reform, all kind of stuff about jails. Yo, none of these people go give any counsel to these kids. They let them sit in that jail and rot, and they watch the system oppress them, and they do nothing. These people, these kids are sitting there with no lawyers, with public defendants. How are you supposed to go to court with these people when you have public defendants? And when you go, and the public defendant is talking to the prosecutor, they come in there, they know each other, they're friends. They come in, they laugh, smile, because I used to see it. When I used to go to court in my younger days, I used to sit there and I used to watch the prosecutor and the public defender talking about where they went for lunch, where they went over the weekend on vacation. These people are friends, and they're here to oppress our children. And we sit here and we do nothing about it. And then we expect, and we say things like, yo, there's gonna be a change because of the George Floyd, all these people came out. I told you, ain't nothing gonna change because the institutions still function the way they've been erected to function. If you want to change society, you want to change anything, you must change how the institutions function. And they still function by money. They still function by control. So we have no power over them. So he sits in that jail waiting for his new court date. I think it's the 14th. The next court date is the 14th.
Yeah, it's February 14th. 13th.
Yeah, February 14th,
14th, yeah.
Is the next court date. But this is day after day after day. This is stress. Like every morning, those brothers wake up. They see themselves going to jail. Because like you got to go to court to go do battle with these people. And they have all the power on their side. That's Patience. That's my producer in the back. She said they're still being harassed. There's videos of the police still going in front of their house. I'm talking about.
That's a really good point, right? Because from what I understand is that after this incident happened, the police kind of set up like an occupation on the street where people had to show identification to prove that they actually lived on the street. Is that correct?
Yes, you had to. Yo, they had about 8 police units out there. Now remember, they said we have a shortage
for months, correct?
Yeah, for months. They said we have a shortage of police in Newark. We have a shortage. There are 8 police officers on one block, 24/7 for months, just sitting there asking people for their IDs to come onto the block. And the only reason they were there was to intimidate the family. Yo, they had one of them big trucks, them big police units that they're sitting there with their cameras and all. They parked it in front of their house. They were taking pictures of their mother, taking pictures of the family. Yo, 5 o'clock in the morning, they come out their house to go to work. The police are on their porch. Like these are all things that happen here that the cameras, nobody really show. The big media outlets won't talk about this family. They won't come down to show the police terrorizing them. They don't. They what's his name? Sharp James. What you call it? Son. He's the councilman.
Is it John? Is it John?
John Sharp James. Yeah. He's with the police. Yo, I pushed up on him. I asked him, like, what are you doing for these kids? He's like, the police said they probably had a gun on him. This is a black man. A black man. He's telling me in 2021, the police said they probably had a gun on him. So like he's taking the word of the police, but then he says he works for the community. And he told the police to go there. He told me to my face, I told him to put a police presence there. I'm like, cause you a sellout. I told him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Ark Republic. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, you can actually keep this mothership going. How? You can make a tax-deductible donation in several ways. One, Cash App us at Ark Republic Media. And you can also go on our website, arkrepublic.com/donate. As well, you can also donate to our fiscal sponsor and our sister organization at Black Farmers Index, that is Cash App, or also go onto their website, blackfarmersindex.com. We are 2 Black women-owned media organizations who share our profits so folk can thrive.
So I'm sitting here and I've been getting information about the Rodwell-Spivey case for months. My first question is that who are the Rodwell-Spivey people, and why are they putting so much heat on this family? What did they do? I'm not saying that they did anything bad, but what is it about this case that is causing this much vitriol? And I'm saying that because, as you know, I've been covering the case of Jamie Moore and Josiah Moore in East Orange. And and according to Jamie Moore, it is because she pushed back and she brought to light that East Orange Police Department, this is her accusation, that because she brought to light that East Orange Police Department sat on the case and didn't do anything, and it came to light, she's being targeted for doing that. So is there any insight on why Rodwell-Spivey family is getting harassed in such a way?
The family, like three of the boys, the brothers are entertainers. They're artists, they make music. During COVID, they used to have parties as well. They used to have parties with like thousands of people coming through. Like they used to have
block
big
parties or
block parties.
Oh.
Like one of them is a DJ. So it's a popular DJ, DJ Cannon. I mean, and like they have big parties and everybody come there, and the city was upset about that. You see, there's one theory that the police were upset about that. That's why they were harassing them. But from my perspective,
during the pandemic, I remember there was like military vehicles situated at places. I said, Newark's looking like occupied territory.
Hey, man, it came down from Biden, so we got to do it. But but from my perspective, sitting back and looking at it, the police got caught lying. They cannot allow them to go, because like the same thing that Jamie said, it's accountability. They do not want to be held accountable for their malfeasance. So because they don't want to be held accountable, they have to play all this game. They have to use the institutions that they control to oppress this family. They kicked the door down. After that happened, the next morning while their family was sleeping, the police came in and kicked the door down and had guns. I'm talking about they came in military style. Now you would think this family, they got caught with guns, they got caught with drugs, they gotta be a reason that you come in the next day. Till this day, there's no gun, there's no drugs, there's nothing. So I believe it's the accountability piece. They don't want to be accountable for the mistake that they have made. So now they have to find a way to push the blame on them, because they believe the brothers have no advocacy. There's nobody that's going to fight for them. There's no Johnny Cochran coming. There's no Al Sharpton's coming. There's nobody coming to stand with this family because they're poor. So we're gonna do whatever we want to do to them. And sometimes that can help to motivate. And I forgot, there's a word I'm looking for, because the family have now become conscious. They've now become aware.
Politicized,
They've now become politicized. They're having their own rallies. They're doing their own things to get their brother out. They're going to meetings. They're associating themselves with activists in the community, something that they didn't do before. There was even the mother. I look on the mother timeline, MoniqueRodwell. Her name is MoniqueRodwell, $ Rodwell. They're trying to raise money to help the case. So if you want, you can send them some money. But even the mother has become politicized. She's on her page fighting for different causes, going to different rallies. On New Year's Eve, not this year, last year, there was another young man killed by the police. His name was Carl Dorsey. That family and the Rodwell family, I saw them at a rally 2 weeks ago. So now those are two families that you have woken up through brutality. So it's like, by no means am I saying that I wish this had happened, but I'm watching this families grow right in front of my eyes, understanding the system that they trust, that they had their faith in, it's against them. And they're finding ways to fight back. Man, you should have heard the Dorsey family. They had a rally on Springfield Avenue, and they were demanding Kaya, it's been over a year. They assassinated Carl Dorsey New Year's last year.
2020 going into 2021, right.
They still ain't come back with the investigation.
Wow.
The government still hasn't showed the investigation. Yo, that's on video too. He was running. Yo, it was New Year's Eve. The police was coming and he bumped into the police officer. The police officer took his gun out and shot him and killed him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on video. It's on social. Like if you go on YouTube,
He bumped into him on the street.
he bumped into him New Year's Eve.
Wow.
And the police
Was it a plainclothes officer?
Plain clothes, I think chasing somebody else.
These damn plainclothes
I'm
officers.
telling you, they took out their gun and shot him and assassinated him. I mean, and it's a year later with the video, with everything. They're telling me the attorney general is saying they don't know what happened. They're still investigating. So now, like, I'm watching the family with tears coming down their eyes, like asking for accountability, and they're being ignored. They're being ignored by all the powers in the city. Nobody's coming to their aid. I mean, but they're not the only, these two families are not the only family. Family after family, block after block, the police are the occupying force in our community. They go on Facebook, they go try to bribe children by giving, because they know the community is poor. So they buy bags of gifts and come out and try to give it to them to try to buy, to conceal who they really are. But these people are terrorists. Like there's no other way to put it. In our community, the police are terrorists. In fact, I'm not the one that even calling them that. Yo, the government said that the police in Newark were corrupt, racist, and they oppressed the community, and they had to put somebody here to watch them.
Federal probe. There was a federal probe.
What was his name? Peter Harvey. They put Peter Harvey here because they found them to be racist, to be the killers they are. Until now, they're still looking at them and they're trying to act like they're not the evil people they are. But a pig is a pig. And what you call it? Who said that? George Jackson said that in Blood in My Eyes. He said, no matter what they do, a pig is a pig. They're gonna do what they've been doing. They're not gonna change their ways. So when somebody asks me, all these people out here rallying, is anything gonna change? A pig is a pig. They're gonna continue their actions. After all of this is quiet down, they're gonna come back and do it again. So circling back, the brothers are fighting for their life in court. I mean, one of them is still locked up, being tortured, and these are not my words. The United Nations call American jails torture chambers. Everybody call them torture chambers. He's still in there being tortured for committing no crime at all.
So let me, sorry, Wayne, I was on a podcast. Okay. Last question, because I actually have another podcast I'm doing. So I would like for you to, thank you. I'm really enjoying the conversation. And on that, Officers Goitando Menendez in East Newark Precinct, I remember you. You know what you did. Okay, wow. Anyway. So yeah. So on that note, let's kind of like circle back to the conversations we were having, you know, almost 2 years ago in terms of BLM and what this all looks like. So taking your understanding then and what's going on specifically in this case, how do you see, how do we get, I don't know if the word is justice, but how do we right this? If we can at all. I mean, that's the thing, right?
No, we can write them. Because like the same thing I said before. We are all of us, we are all controlled through institutions. When we walk away from those institutions, we take away their power. We must organize in our communities to get our people to understand we have to walk away from these institutions. We have to. You can't reform the police. Because like, if you remember during those rallies, they were screaming, defund the police. They were screaming all these different things. Then you had the politicians. You had all the elites in the Black community coming out, and they told people, go out and vote and get Trump out of office. Once you get Trump out of office, we have this bill that we are going to pass against the police. What is that? What is that bill they were talking about? No, when the police immunity. We're gonna take away immunity. Like
Oh, yeah.
they were throwing all these words out. We're gonna do this, do that. The election is over. It's been a whole year. There has been no bill passed. There is no police immunity. There is no accountable of anything. Because once you go to these institutions of white supremacy, the government, they will do nothing to aid us. We have to come back and organize our own people to take control of our communities, to take ownership of our communities. Unless we do that, we have no other option but to go to their institutions. The Panthers used to call it dual contending powers. You have to create a dual contending power. What do I mean by that? They have their schools. We have to create our school. I mean, they have their institutions. We have to create our own, but it has to be organized. I know you got to go. That's why I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. Yeah, what up?
No, my husband was like, I had the door open, so he was closing it for me. So it's all good.
Nah,
Yeah.
I thought he brought that Dave Chappelle thing. Wrap it up.
No.
No, but
I do have to go. I have another talk, but no, I'm listening.
Because it's hard for people to grasp the concept. Like, it's hard to grasp it because our whole life we've been in this other world. We've been dealing with this stuff, but it's really that easy. It's really that easy. The people in the community got to start building their own institutions. They have to be organized to do so. They have to, or you have no other choice but to deal with these institutions. I mean, if you don't build your own, you got to deal with these ones. And there's nothing you can do to change their institution. Once again, I'm gonna say George Jackson again. In the book Blood in My Eyes, he said, until the people see there's no hope in the white supremacy institutions, there's nothing you can do for them. They have to see that if nothing is better than this one. Like we have no hope in these institutions. We don't believe in the police. We don't believe in the government. We don't believe in none of that. Once they turn their back, then you could create something. But it take organizers. It take people that go in the community to point the contradictions out, to get people to see, because they don't see. I mean, but yeah, that's where we at, man.
Right. It's like everything has to fall out from underneath.
Yeah, like they got to see it for themselves. They got to see it for themselves.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's sad to say. I mean, but it's really not sad, because once you turn your back, the world becomes different. You see things different. You see things from a whole different perspective. Like, I don't need them to survive. Once you walk away from them, I'm telling you, it's beautiful on this side. Yo, I curse the police out. I say what I want to say. Man, I said what I want to say to them. Yo, I got a video on TikTok with like 5 million views where the police locked my son up. They grabbed my son and they put him in the car. And I walked up to them, like, let my boy go. Let my boy out that car right now. You have no reason to have him. I mean, but if you go in there all timid, excuse me, officer, what did he? They'll say whatever they want. They'll try to intimidate you. But you got to let them know you're not afraid of them. And you're not afraid to go to jail. Man, you can go to jail, but they got to let you go. They can keep you forever. You can go to jail. It's not that serious. But I walked up to the police officers and I told them to let my boy go. Guess what they did? They let him go. I mean, because they're cowards. They're all cowards and they know what they're doing is wrong.
But would you say, but Afrika, I mean, you are a known person. You know what I'm saying? You are a known person. And if you were just an average Joe, like a Spivey, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, I don't know if the response would be the same. But you broker, even though there is a push and pull, but you do broker a lot of, not a lot, but more power than just the regular person in Newark.
But look at me. Look at me. I'm alone. It's only me and my family. Mm-hmm. I don't go trying to ask nobody to follow me to do nothing. Like the video I said it's on what you call it. It's on TikTok. I drove my car. My son called me. The police pulled us over. They said there was a pedestrian in the walkway. I mean, like, there was no pedestrian in the walkway. I got inside my car and I drove there. The number one thing is you got to show them you're not afraid of them.
No, I agree.
You got to look them right in the eye and let him know I'm not afraid of your jail. I'm not afraid of your gun, because that's my son. Yo, I was ready to die that day. You got to be ready to die. You can't be scared. You can't be like, oh, they're going to lock me up. They're going to do this. Yo, you got to grab. I was about to say something. You have to have the testicular fortitude.
I love it.
You have to have the testicular fortitude to look them in the eye. You see, once you're not afraid of their institutions no more, you don't have to worry about that. And that's those sheriffs didn't know me. There were like 6 sheriff officers out there, 6 cars. They didn't know Africa, but they knew I wasn't putting up with their shit. We was gonna get it in. If you don't let my son out that car, and while I was talking to them, I was telling them how what they're doing is illegal. Because you can step on the street and trap somebody into a ticket. I'm like, you're taxing the community. This is you're pimping our community. That's what you're doing. I'm like, this is not a crime. What you're doing is illegal. And they looked at me, they saw like I wasn't playing no game with them. But it's not only them. Yo, you got to go to City Hall. You got to talk to the council people, your mayors. You got to challenge these people. Because at the end of the day, we pay their salaries. When I work 60 hours a week, 60 hours. And at the end of the week, they take money out my paycheck to pay for these people goofy ass contracts. So ain't no way in hell I'm going to be busting my ass on the plantation. And then when I come home, you're going to be brutalizing my kid. Nah, something got to give. We're going to kick up some dust. And if everybody in the community looked at it like that, they wouldn't mess with us. But and that's another, before you go, those police are our kids. All those police officers didn't fall out of the sky. They didn't come from Mars. They didn't come from all these places. These are our children. Once we take back our communities, our children will not lock us up, will not brutalize us. But we're not socializing our kids. We're letting white supremacy socialize them. So they think it's okay to brutalize us so they can pay their rent.
I mean, I think that's a really good point. And what a lot of people, don't know is that a lot of, particularly Black officers, when they join the police force, are treated, poorly. You know what I'm saying? In that, but I think that's a really good perspective, to have is that when we do provide that space and let them know that they are our own, what does that look like then? What are those changes? But I love chopping up with you. I've got to go. We've got to go. I look forward to us talking more, knowing more about the updates of the Rodwell-Spivey case. Any last thoughts? They are yours, Brother Afrika.
Hey, All Power to the People podcast. It's on YouTube. You could go on there. You could see some stuff about the Rodwell-Spivey case, and their lawyer, Cynthia Hardway. I'm gonna get you her information. So if you want to have a follow-up show about what's going on, you can speak to her. But yeah, man, but we out here. Look, everybody that's out there, if you're serious about Black liberation, about changing our material condition, man, it starts with you. You got to read a book. You got to grab a book. The one book that I would tell you to get right now, this is a hard book right here. He going in. He ready for military war. George Jackson, Blood in My Eyes. When you read that book, look, I'm not telling you to go over there and go start doing patrols and do like he did, ready to go to war with white supremacy. No, you got to go about steps. Get the book, read it, find out who your enemy is, and then we can talk about how we deal with the enemy. Because it's a different time of day. Back then, they didn't have cameras everywhere. They got a camera watching us now. They got a camera on my phone. So it's like we got to strategize a different way. But read that book. Read Blood in My Eyes. It's a beautiful read. And if you don't want to read it, you can get it off YouTube. You can listen to it on YouTube while you're working, doing whatever you're doing. You can listen to it and it's narrated. I'm telling you, once you read that book, you're going to understand who your enemy is and how we can fight back. But it starts with you. Nobody's coming to save you. All these people, this rich activists, they're not coming to do nothing for you. You have to start it on your own. You have to build your own revolution. Yo, look, I love that shirt right there. I mean, that you got on, Kaya. That shirt tough right there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
from the waist on down, it's looking like a holy hell mess. But I do appreciate that. I love your backdrop, Fannie Lou Hamer. That is one of on my totem pole of ancestors. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know, she's
police brutalized that sister.
Totally, yeah.
And listen though, it wasn't the white people that brutalized her.
It was the
They got the black people that's in jail to do it. They told them, if you don't do it, we're gonna whoop your ass. So they beat that sister and she lost her eye. She couldn't see after that beating. I mean, so it's like,
and it was the complications from that beating that leads ultimately to her death. I'm telling you, like that's a queen right there. She's a pillar. I mean, and like when I talk about the police, I think about the beating that they put on that sister, the things they did to her. I mean, so we got to keep that legacy. And just like how she learned, everybody watching this, she got up, she was from the country, she educated herself on the conditions in her community, and she did something about it. You got to do the same thing too. You got to wake up and do the same thing. I hear you loud and clear. I appreciate that. And as we know, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Thank you so much, Brother Afrika. I will be talking to you sooner than later.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Let's embark on the Ark Republic to hear current news that's published. More than gossip and chatter, covering current affairs that matter. We talk issues with professional views, all keeping you in queue. We wanted a higher vibe for these days and times to free the voices and minds, reporting the sign of the times so all can build. Let's shine, yeah.